Hello, this is Geometrist speaking. I will be doing a recording of the Prophecy of Pendor lores. Disclaimer, none of these stories are mine. They are the owner and creator of the mod stories. I will be posting a link to his Tale Worlds forum account and to the ModDB mod page. Introduction. The hospice hallway was dimmed, and there was a lingering smell of bleach as I walked down towards Vance's room. I knew that he was dying, and the summons I received from his sister meant that the end was near. It had been a long year, and Vance, my friend since college, had struggled with and will finally succumb to the cancer that he was diagnosed with last Christmas. What a lousy year this had been. I knocked at the door and entered. Pulling the linen drapes aside, I saw that he was lying on one of those high-end hospital beds, a bright red blanket up to his chest, and an IV drip was attached to his left hand. I knew it was morphine. He looked gaunt and tired, and his hair was uncombed, and he had a pale look to him. Not just pale, but worn, almost translucent. He smiled as I entered. "Hello, champ. How goes it?" I bantered as I sat down in the chair closest to the bed. "Hey, I've been waiting for you, slacker," he said in a strained voice, barely above a whisper. "How am I? I've been better." A small mischievous smile crept across his face. "You see that hot nurse out there? Too bad she's taken. I can't talk her out of dumping her fiancé and running off with me to Tahiti." His smile ended in a slight grimace and a spasmodic cough. "Sorry, the morphine is still kicking in. The pain is not fun," he said. There was a moment pause where we were just looking at each other. Memories flooded me, the times we had shared, and a sense of what this man meant to me as my friend. There were damn few friends these days to lose anymore, especially ones that were so important. Seeming to sense my mood, Vance smiled. "I think you should have bought that Jag." I laughed as my mind flashed back to the time when I could have bought my dream car for a song. I procrastinated, and when it was sold out from under me before I mustered the guts to sign on the dotted line. Vance said that I was a fool, and went to some pains to remind me of his ignored advice for going on 20 years now. Never, of course, in front of my wife, but when we were alone it was almost like a mantra. 20 years? Yes, I recounted them. I'd known this man as my friend for over half my life. "I have something for you," he said, and motioned to the table next to him. There was what looked to be a large stationery box. "Open it," he said. I reached over and grabbed the box. It was much heavier than I had anticipated, and brought to my lap where I carefully opened it. Inside was looked to be a typed manuscript. "I've been working on this for a long time," he said, "and now I want you to have it." He paused as I took a moment and inspected the pages, several hundred, neatly typed. This surprised me, as I'd no inkling that Vance was a writer. "I don't understand," I said, unable to contain my confusion. He smiled and said, "Read the introduction." He then closed his eyes and sighed. "I'll just take a short nap here while you do. Wake me up if that hot nurse comes in. I have to work in her sometime." I smiled and then turned my attention to the box in my lap. The introduction was 20 pages long, talking about all things, the nature of the universe, specifically how there were infinite variations of reality played out in alternate dimensions, and explained fairly well under the general term of quantum physics. And went on to cite references and theories, and wove in an intricate argument of how every story, every act of artistic creation was a momentary branch between these infinite dimensions, bringing that reality back into our own. Every story, every novel, every fantasy world was in fact some other alternate dimension and therefore real. It ended with a question that, do we really put this stuff from alternate dimensions, or by the act of inspiration do we cause its existence? Do we create infinite uses for our acts of creativity and storytelling? I looked up, maybe 20 minutes later, to see Vance watching me. He smiled and whispered, "Keep reading," and then shut his eyes again. I looked down at chapter 1, and I started reading about the story of his medieval fantasy kingdom, Pendor. Thank you for listening to this. I will be posting a link to the story also in the description. Good day to you, and have fun reading. Signing off.